So rather than going through the resolutions first, I want to give everybody an update and give you an opportunity to ask questions regarding, and I have some notes here regarding garbage, because that has been my life for the last month. So we do a lot of trash talking in our office. So obviously the most significant hurdle that we had to overcome was the absence of the mailer that had been approved by, we did just some editing on language, et cetera, to make sure it was clear with Waste Management. But this was in fact to be their mailing. It was part of the agreement with Waste Management that they would mail this out in advance of any rollout of cards. So on January 11th, the language in that mailer was approved, and it was supposed to start hitting, it was supposed to get to the post office by the 14th, which was a Monday, and would be hitting the boxes within the next couple of days. Obviously, that didn't occur. At our January 22nd meeting, we were assured by Waste Management that it was at the post office, and they didn't actually hit mailboxes until last week, Wednesday, I believe, which was the 13th of February. So it was close to being a month. It was about a month behind. And that created a great deal of lack of information and confusion to the public. So needless to say, we had a number of questions to answer with phone calls as to what day is my pickup, and then to top it off, they had informed us sometime around January 14th, I believe it was. I have to check my email. And it may have been later than that. It may have been closer towards the end of the week around I'm just thinking of the dates. Somewhere around the 17th or so. I think it was on the 17th of January that about 60% of the pickup dates were also changed, which created a great deal of confusion. So then to top it off, we had the snowstorm and the driving ban and ice jams and flooding, and so I was triaging my time basically. But we got through all that. Cart delivery is almost complete. As of this morning, we had record of about 100 carts that had not been delivered. We hope that by after Wednesday, the town, let me see here, Wednesday, dedicated to missing property. Okay, some properties were missing or wrong size carts had been delivered. So, we have been addressing that to the best of our ability. We had about 30,000 carts to deliver, so delivery goes first, and then special requests go after that. After Wednesday, we're going to review the inventory and start addressing the residents who have written requesting smaller carts or additional carts. And obviously, that will have to go into a systematic delivery system. We can't just, if they call, say, oh, well, we'll bring it right out. It's not that simple. So we've been taking letters of request from residents who have indicated that they really can't handle the 95-gallon carts. And so they will be addressed once we get all of the missing locations attended to. Then those people who want us to switch out the carts, we will begin working on that. The highway superintendent has very, very graciously indicated that he would be able to help us with that. However, right now, this is the time of the year when they plow and salt the roads, and that's their primary job. He said usually he'll get in touch with me after St. Patty's Day, which is coming up in about 3 weeks or so. And at that point in time, that's when things, they transition. They can't do real road work because it's too sloppy and nasty out. And that's when they usually reserve that time to take care of projects with buildings and the like, other things. So this is what they're going to fit into that this year. So that, will be very helpful. The mailers are all out except Dawn.
I have
Still
not, personally, I have not received a mailer. You haven't either? Now, I know people who have,
I have.
but.
I got the mailer from the town, that small.
Yes.
The postcard, I have not gotten filled out.
And when it became obvious, because on a daily basis, Waste Management said they will hit the mailboxes today, they will hit the mailboxes today, they will hit them, and that went on for day after day after day after day. It became obvious that I don't know where these mailers are.
Well, they did admit that they use the bulk mail system, and I know a little bit about that. And
So do I.
it's a hit or miss situation at times, and it's a lot more lengthy than a first class mail.
Well, apparently they were at a mailing house and not at the post office, so that was the
So,
problem.
there you have
And
another
from
issue.
Dallas,
Right.
I believe Dallas, not locally. And so that was another problem.
Yes.
Hindsight is 20/20. So they're out, so we don't have that many questions, and I'm sorry.
It's
that you
okay, I
didn't
get it
yours.
off the website.
So what I did was I contacted Office of Emergency Management and asked if we could use their code red to do a phone blitz, which we did do. We knew that we would be hitting people who were outside of Lancaster because they registered with our town code red, even though they might live in Depew or Alden. So they did get the calls
I
also.
still think that was a great idea because, I was trying the best I could online,
Right.
but there are elderly people who don't have access to computers and so on and so forth, so the robocall is a great
So,
idea.
so we thought, that it was overkill and we knew that it was, but it cost us nothing and it, at least got the message out somewhat. So, and then we decided to do the postcard also. And the postcard hit the same day or the day after the mailer actually hit most mailboxes except yours. And I can't explain that. It will probably, we've had tax payments mailed that come 4 or 5 months after they were actually mailed. And you'll see the postmark that says, February 10th, and you get it in June, and it's like, how did this happen? But, the post office does an admirable job. And they get 99.9%. It's that 0.1% that is the killer.
That's right, considering the weather, I'm more than happy to go to Texas and pick up my copy.
Yeah, so, let me see here. Because we had suspended 2 days during the snowstorm of garbage pickup, Waste Management went out the next week and picked up anything regardless. No matter what people put out, they just picked it up the following week. And then because routes were changed, they were doing double duty on the routes also. So that if you had a Tuesday, if your old day was a Tuesday, but now the new day is a Monday, they would go out on Monday and Tuesday. And they did that for the last couple of weeks. Now they have suspended doing that because they don't want people to think that, they want them to get used to what the real day is. So, so this week they're just doing one route, but they were sending out double trucks in order to, accommodate people on the date change. Let me see here. Glass, we've had a lot of calls about glass not being recyclable. And that's really not, glass is recyclable. It's just that it costs to recycle glass. There are a couple of issues with glass. One of them is glass will contaminate a load, so that if glass breaks, it will contaminate everything in with that glass. That's a problem. Once you contaminate it, even recyclables that were good are no longer good because it's been contaminated with the glass. I have been recycling glass I started recycling glass before New York State even had a bottle bill. So I sympathize with the people who are distressed about that, and I share that with them. I'm a recycler, have been since before anybody else was recycling. I would save up all my glass. Town of Amherst had dumpsters, green, brown, and colorless, and I worked up in Amherst, and I would take my glass and pitch it into that dumpster. That was my exercise, you know, getting it into the dumpster. I'm a recycler, and it's important, and glass is recyclable. It's just in a single stream it creates a problem because it does contaminate other recyclables in there, number one, and number two, it does cost the town. So should there be a better market for recycling of glass, the town of Lancaster can always change that and move forward with that. So, but right now, we didn't want to take the chance of contaminating what we have. So, and the Sun had a nice front page article that went into a lot of details on recycling, which I think will open a lot of eyes. So thank you very much for covering that. Yard waste. Yard waste needs to go in the carts. Okay. We made accommodations during bulk week to include 40-pound bags of yard debris as a bulk item, as well as allowing yard waste in a 40-pound bag with an extra capacity sticker on non-bulk week. So, and you all know what the bulk week is. It's the second full week of the month, so, which was last week. So, let me see here. Bulk week, you can, if you have that sticker on your bag, it will be picked up on a non-bulk week, but it can't be vermin attracting waste. So it can't be any food products. Okay, don't put dirty paper plates in there or pizza boxes that are dirty because they're vermin attracting. So, but it can be other things like flower pots and, you know, cleaning out the basement of junk or whatever that doesn't work, doesn't sell at a garage sale, whatever it is. So, let's see here. That's basically it. Adam and Dawn, have you been asked any questions at all, Diane, that I haven't maybe covered here? You haven't found the answers on the website?
No,
Okay,
just questions that
Okay.
you've covered there.
right.
A lot of angry phone calls, but
Yeah,
nothing we couldn't cover.
I know. Change is horrible. People hate
That's what it is.
change,
People don't like change.
and I fully understand that. I'm not really good with change myself, so I can sympathize with the public that, you know, change is hard. The reason for the increased cost is that this has been a market rate adjustment. We had a contract that was basically in existence for 14 years, and if we could have extended that contract even into the summer, that would have been great. We couldn't extend it. It died on January 31st, 2019. And, you know, and years ago I said, you know, 5 years ago I said to myself, that's a horrible time to go into a new contract. But, you know, that's the hand that we were dealt. So I know the public is probably saying, well, why didn't you wait, you know, till a better time? If we could have, we would have. Trust me, I didn't want to have to deal with what we had to deal with, but, you know, in another month, this will just be a bad memory, so.
These surplus bins, we're going to pay for those have we decided how that's going to go?
Yeah, we haven't really released them yet, but I was going to ask you, and that was kind of a last minute thought to get this resolution on, ask you if you could have BAS, I don't know if you would want to create another field for that, Diane?
Donna can actually do it.
Donna can, okay. So if you could create an additional field for that, that is roughly what we paid for them. So that's our cost. I'm surprised they're that expensive, but $6.50.
Oh, I'll buy a couple because it helps
Right.
me recycle inside the house going in the
Yes,
carts.
they are nice, right, and they're nice and clean, so. Okay. Anything from, no,
Nothing really.
already. So, that's that.
I think the only positive that came out of that distribution was that we were able to identify the properties that were not entitled to that piece of property.
Yes, yeah, and I probably should share that.
Dial
There
in.
are more properties than you can imagine that have not been paying into the refuse district, because in all these years, since this was started in '88, I believe that the last 3 administrations did not do an audit of it. Now, we, over the last 2-3 years, have been weeding out people that we found that are, that were getting garbage service that didn't belong in that garbage district, but as Matt said, the tote delivery has weeded that out like you wouldn't believe, because all of a sudden now we're getting phone calls from businesses that said, hey, everybody on our street got the carts, but we didn't. Well, what's your address? We pull them up on the tax rolls, discover that they are a business and that they're not paying into the refuse district. And this is a residential refuse district. There have been mixed uses where you might have a storefront and then apartments upstairs. So it's a mixed use and there are residences there. So they have been in that district and they could belong in there. But we have given them the option to opt out also. But when you find machine businesses and welding businesses, etc., that have merely, or businesses that used to have a dumpster and decided to get rid of it and just put their garbage out at the curb and find that they got it picked up, well, they were happy. They weren't paying for it, but guess who was? Those of us who are paying for garbage pickup, we're paying for their service. So, as Matt said, we have weeded out, that is getting weeded out like you wouldn't believe. And that's really a good thing, because businesses don't really belong in there, car, automotive type businesses and the like. They should have their own dumpster, and that's the cost if they're doing business. They are not disposing of residential type waste. So it has certainly served to clean up things. So, and again, just a reminder, Waste Management now this week is picking up only those that are in the town's issued totes. And again, I've told you that there were about 100 that don't have those totes yet that we're working on. And so we will occasionally get a phone call saying, they picked up everybody's, they didn't pick up mine, I didn't get a tote. And so I call Waste Management, they make a special trip up there or send them an email, and they do pick it up. So we're attempting to, deal with that on an individual basis.
Now, if somebody already has a damaged cart,
Then they need to let us know. And
town?
yes, let us know, and until Wednesday, we will still have the service of Rarick, who is delivering the carts, and they will switch it out. Okay. And we're asking people to keep it out in the open, so that, it's clearly visible, they can come and make a switch on it. So, but
weather-related
it's
issues.
just all of those things that will be a matter of over the, several weeks, it will all be cleaned up and just, as I said, a really bad memory. So,
Oh, I did have one question
Go ahead.
Mike might be able to answer.
Mhm.
Some of the businesses on Central, I've noticed, are keeping their carts, they store them on the sidewalk on Central.
Mhm.
Is that because they don't have room behind the buildings, or they just
We're
don't
gonna be
feel like
looking
living
at
back there?
it
Because it looks terrible.
Yeah.
we're going to be meeting with them
It's been the
tomorrow.
statement,
Okay.
Right.
trying to address it, trying to set
Okay.
up a
Bill and
meeting.
I met with Tom Sweeney yesterday, and we have some ideas.
Right.
So we're gonna be working
Specifically
on
the
it.
ones next to the toy store.
Yes.
Sure addresses.
Yes, I spoke with Betty last week, and we're meeting tomorrow at 11. So Dawn will be there, and the mayor will be there, Matt, myself, and representatives from Waste Management. So we are going to be addressing that. So that's it. Resolutions? Do you want to go over them, or are we all comfortable with them?
I'm comfortable with it.
Okay.
You want to look at this?
Yes, okay, that's right. Ed Ed and Matt and I have been dealing with the EPA on storm water, among other things. So Ed can share with you what he and Matt have been working on more than I have. So
Basically, in August, we had the audit. The EPA came into their MS4 audit for a couple of days. And it wasn't until the end of January that we got the report.
Diane can get them to Ron.
You
got
one?
I have it, yes.
Yeah, it's Ron, Matt. Basically what it was, is they came back with their findings, a list of 22 items that need to be addressed, their dates, and another 8 items in the audit report that we want done immediately. So Matt and I have been going through this, kind of well that Jan's working on. We have a letter going out to them. A couple of items we've actually addressed, so we can submit proof to that. And then some of the other stuff we're asking for changing the dates. Some of it's weather dependent, we can't do it this time of year. Some of it's just going to take some time. But overall, it's over the next 3 or 4 months, it's going to be putting a lot of process in place and no exceptions for construction sites, really. It's subdivisions and commercial development sites that this falls onto and held in the fire. Already issued 3 or 4 violations in the last week on some sites already. You know, there's some hefty fines in here if we don't follow what dates we agreed to. But I think the dates we proposed, we pushed it out through the summer, so we should be okay.
And the EPA was supposed to get this to us right after the first of the year, but then they were furloughed. So we didn't get it until February 4th. So, yes.
Yeah, maybe Council's actually recognized that, so they.
Right.
So we have a letter going to them this week, hopefully. Pushing out some dates, which I don't think, in fact, I had conversations with Clarence, who went through this a couple years ago, and they said there's no problem getting dates changed, so.
Right.
But, so read through it, if you have questions, I'll matter myself,
And I read through your reply today also. Thank you very much.
I sent that over
Pretty
to,
thorough.
I sent over a word to Janice so she can finalize it, put it on letterhead.
Okay. Janice was off today.
Yeah.
There was a car accident over the weekend, so.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's kind of sore. So, but she said her brain is sore. So that's a good thing. But needless to say, sore. So they were T-bone that. So, yeah.
So if you have any questions, holler. Should be more to come. More information.
Yes.
So some required code changes here and there.
Joanna, do we decide where we're gonna put the extra bins now? The extra totes, I mean, not bins, totes.
Yes.
They're gonna have to go over the case apart, enclosed.
But not by semi? Okay. We got worried about the wires. All right, so they're gonna go back over to Kiza?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Rare is going to take them there. Can you give me a call tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
And then we can see if they will be hauling them over there. But if they are, they have to go on a smaller truck.
Correct.
And if not, then we may have to do it. Danny said that he has a truck that is very similar to that hay truck that Rare uses to deliver, that big truck with the,
Oh, yeah,
with
the Mexican truck we call it.
whatever, is that it? Okay, whatever. So, yeah,
Okay.
okay, with the open air sides like on it, yeah,
Well, I think if we use the cart they deliver with, we'll be fine.
right.
You know, if they just load that up and we'll unlock it,
Right.
and we should be fine with that. I just wasn't sure how we were handling that at this point.
They are moving from Lancaster to Alden. Alden piggybacked off of our bid. We got such a good price that they were able to piggyback off of it and, got a good price. So Rare is delivering carts there, so Alden will be doing, they're rolling it out to effective April 1st with waste management too, so.
The mailer going.
Nice weather.
I did talk with their supervisor, Stan Happel, yeah, so, with the mail, but he knows, so, I'm glad to help, so. Wish somebody would help, yeah. It is what it is, so, okay, and that's that.